think I'm live, think I'm good. So if you are watching or viewing the recording, give me a nice little thumbs up so that I know you're here. And just give me a second to get the technology up and running. Okay, I think I'm good. Okay, awesome. All right, so today I just wanted to kind of talk with you about something I was thinking about today. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So the question I have for you guys is, have you ever heard the saying that comparison is the thief of joy? Well, from my experience, I pretty much know that to be true. And the reason for that is because, we're all unique souls, right? With equally unique paths in life. So when we compare ourselves to others, especially as it relates to teaching, it naturally robs us of our joys, our passions, and our sense of purpose and accomplishment. And I know that this has happened to me before too. And the moment that I start comparing myself with, what somebody else is doing, like if I take everything that I've done, everything that I've accomplished, and then I put it up against someone else, suddenly everything that I've done just doesn't feel good enough anymore. So it really does rob you of your joy and sense of purpose and your passion for what you do. So today, kind of just wanted to talk about this abstract rule thing, my first rule of online teaching, and really any kind of teaching, doesn't have to be online. But the first thing is to do you, right? To do me. And I always apply these to myself, so that's the reason why I'm talking about it. But what do I mean by that specifically, do you? Well, specifically, what I mean by that is that we as teachers, as individuals, really have to pick out the technologies, the curriculums, and the resources that you, right, you yourself feel comfortable working with in the beginning of the school year. And that's going to be different for everybody, right? Some people might want to use this curriculum, and other people might want to use that one. So I know that I can always adapt and change things. But what I want to do at the beginning of this school year is I want to make sure that I'm stacking the deck in my favor, right? And that I'm working with materials that I know or I'm confident in and I know that they'll make me and my students successful and, proficient in what we're trying to learn. So for me, speaking and understanding Spanish obviously is goal number one, right? But, for everyone, their goals look a little different. So for me, even though speaking Spanish and understanding Spanish is goal number one, I personally favor curriculums that are reading and writing intensive, right? So when I'm looking at curriculums that I want to use for this school year, especially in the virtual world and that are transferable to that, I'm going to look for ones that are more reading and writing intensive because that's what I prefer to do as an individual teacher, right? So does that mean that I'm only going to do that? That I'm just going to do reading and writing intensive resources and lessons and all that kind of stuff? No, of course not. But especially for the beginning of the year, I am going to do that because that's my strength. And again, I want to stack the deck in my favor. I want to begin the school year, from a position of confidence. And reading and writing is something that is a serious strength of mine. It's a huge strength. So, that's where I'm going to start. But, of course, I'm also going to add other things to my class, to keep it dynamic and ever evolving. And as I see, there's this gap here, there's this hole here, there's this void here, I'm going to fill that with other things. But again, I'm going to, especially in the beginning of the year, I'm going to do me. I'm going to be authentic to myself and who I am and where my strengths are when choosing the resources, the technology, and all that kind of stuff that I'm going to start the school year with, right? So when it comes to the technology aspect of all of this, first, I just need to say, wow, I'm so impressed and amazed, honestly, at all the Bitmoji classrooms and all the interactive slides that people are creating and the Pear Decks and all the videos that people have made. It's wow, it's so incredible. Now, for me, again, the rule number one for me is, do you. So for me, we've switched our LMS to Canvas this year, and Canvas, I've said a few choice words when trying to operate Canvas a couple of times so far, and it's complicated, right? So for me, Canvas is like DEFCON 1. That's like top priority. That's priority A for me at the moment. Everything else is kind of just put to the side while I learn Canvas, and because of that focus, right? Today, actually, I'm gonna pat myself on the shoulder for a second or on the back, but I just finished my first unit or module, whatever you want to call it, on social media for my dual enrollment Spanish classes, and I'm like super excited about it. And I know it's not perfect, right, technology wise, but it's solid and it's interesting, and most importantly, my kids are going to learn from it. So the point is that, you know, if I'm following my rule, my own rule, do you, I'm not going to kill myself trying to do all these other things to try to keep up with someone else. I'm just not going to do that, because again, it robs us of our purpose, our joy, and you know, our sense of accomplishment. It just does so much more harm than good. So also with regards to the technology piece, when it comes to like Bitmoji and things like that, and Edpuzzle and Pear Deck, do you. If you're familiar with all that, or you're, you know, you geek out when you see a new Bitmoji classroom, do that, right? For me right now it's Canvas, but for you it's going to be different. So this is, you know, the bottom line is that this is what I can say, is that education for me is definitely my passion, right? I absolutely love working with students, and definitely I love working with teachers alike, you know. And with that being said, the question that I have to ask myself, you know, sort of when these thoughts come into my head and I see all the cool, amazing things that, you know, other people are doing, usually when I see like cool things that people are doing, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. But then that can quickly turn to like, oh crap, I'm not doing enough, right? So the question that I have to ask myself to kind of keep those kind of thoughts, those negative thoughts at bay, is, you know, how can I be doing what it is that I love, my passion, right? If I'm just copying, or I'm trying to replicate someone else and how they teach, right? It's not possible. I can't be doing my passion and doing what I love if I'm just copying what somebody else is doing. That can't happen, right? So the way I see it is, I think of teaching as sort of like being an architect. You know, if every architect copied what all the other architects are doing, then all the buildings would look the same, right? That wouldn't be good. So of course, architects, do they study each other? Yeah. Do they learn from each other? Most definitely, right? But comparing themselves to others and then trying to copy and replicate what they do, not so much, right? They're going to learn from each other and learn and apply those skills and try to become proficient in all of that, but they're always going to put their own magic, their own twist on it to make it authentically unique to them, like a signature, right? So that's sort of how I see teaching. And so, you know, your classroom is going to be different than everybody else's classroom. So kind of like a building, you know, a house or even just a store, right? You know, a big box store, or just kind of a corner store, anything like that. Those, they're going to have very different functions than, let's say, you know, a hospital, right? So by nature, these buildings are different, okay, by nature. So to compare the two, if you're going to compare a hospital with a corner store, right, and then say, well, this one doesn't have this, and then this one doesn't have that, well, obviously that would be illogical, wouldn't be productive at all, right? So the same thing applies to teaching, right? So as you are looking towards this upcoming school year, right, when those intrusive kind of comparative thoughts come in, you know, ask yourself, am I really making my virtual, hybrid, traditional classroom, whatever you've got, right? Am I making my classroom my own, right? And if you are, then you know, if you are, then you've succeeded, right? At least in my book, anyway. You've found your passion, you've found your purpose again, your own unique flavor, right? And the bottom line is, don't compromise that. Hold on to it, because there's no cookie cutter teachers here. So anyway, just wanted to say that and just kind of get it off my chest, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you, Maria. Appreciate your comment. And if you guys ever need anything, just let me know. Send me a message, and you know, support, ideas, whatever. If you need anything, just let me know, and I'll be happy to talk to you. So I will see you soon. Bye. Have a great day.